is strange now.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Too Cute for Cancer. My name is Jody, and we are here today with another special guest, Diana, and I will let her explain what her role is today. We've been going through a mental health series. This is our third one.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about anxiety. And just to let you guys know, we are not going deep on anxiety because this is a deep subject. And we're not going there. We're just going to do like an overview. So just know that. But if you haven't been a part of our mental health series, you can catch up by going to this link up here, and we'll have the first two topics right up there for you to catch up with. All right. So Diana, what is your credentials and what makes you worthy of being here today?
Well, my name is Diana. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and I'm your friend.
Yes, and we have been friends for 23 years. So we have been through life's ups and downs together.
Yes.
And she's perfect to have around because we know I need a psychiatrist. No, just kidding. A psychologist or a counselor. I need it all. All right, so today is anxiety. So let's go.
Okay. C.S.W. Lewis put it very well. He said, "No one ever told me that grief felt so like fear." In the other series, we were talking about the stages of grief, especially for when we're being diagnosed for the first time or a second round or any of those things that we are managing and handling. What is anxiety? Anxiety is the feeling of something that is real or imagined. So the fear of something real that is happening or something that is imagined. To react to fear. And that's that flight, fight, or freeze response that we get. And that response comes from that same feeling when you are anxious. You can have that racing heartbeat. You can have your muscles coiled. You can have dizziness. And there's so many other things that can come along with that.
For me, scan anxiety was my big thing. And until I realized that it was anxiety and not just a normal, oh yeah, I get really anxious around scan time. The night before, I never sleep. I get insomnia and I can't, I get restless and stuff. That was my body. That was my mind telling me, you're anxious, you're worried. And I didn't put it under the category as anxious. I said, oh yeah, I'm anxious about tomorrow, that's normal. And I kind of just like, yeah, that's okay. But I didn't really go deep and decide that it's affecting the way I sleep. It's affecting like maybe a week out of my time over one scan. So I needed to deal with it. So
Right. And anxiety, like you're saying, it can look different. It can have different symptoms, and it can really be very different for everybody. Everybody's experiencing it differently.
like I experience it with insomnia. That's how every time I'm anxious, I get insomnia. That's my go-to. So now I know that. Now I know what I can do about it. I have an action plan that I can come up with. I did journaling. Sometimes I map it in my phone, to see how I'm doing. But most of the time I just accept it and I know that I'm going to feel like crap. I'm not going to sleep the night before my scans. I know that I need sleep, but I can't force myself to do it, and I get more frustrated. I get more anxious, and it just builds and builds and builds. So what do? I plan for it. The night before scans, I plan on not sleeping. I put the Waltons on. That's my go-to relaxation, happy spot. And I get a cup of chamomile tea and some popcorn, and I just don't even try to sleep. I don't even go there, and I just relax. And for me, that has been the biggest thing ever, was knowing it and addressing it, and just because I didn't even think it was happening. If someone said, are you anxious about whatever? I'm like, oh yeah, a little bit anxious about a scamp, that's all. Well, that's not all. I'm not sleeping. So that's a big deal. So recognizing it as anxiety and it being normal.
Yes.
was really helpful to me to be able to take action steps.
Right. The other thing is, and as Jody's mentioning, a lot of these anxious moments that you're having are actually manifesting themselves into physical symptoms. And I think we were having a conversation earlier about the physical symptoms that come with anxiety and having it confused with the actual illness that you're experiencing, because the anxiety can manifest in nausea, feeling dizzy, and where you're at that point where like, is the medication making me feel this, or is my body responding to something, where it actually can be that your body is responding to the anxiety.
Right, and I think one really good example of that is soon after my second diagnosis, I had to go through a double mastectomy. And after the mastectomy healed and everything, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like they did something wrong on one of my boobs. I felt like they were tied it in the muscle and pulled it tight. And I felt like the implant was like out of place. And my heart would race, and I just thought, okay, it's in my mind, this is what I came up with. The implant burst and it moved upward and it's pouring infection in through my body, and ow, it hurts. So I went into the doctor and I told him, I said, I think my implant burst and it's infected now and it's causing this feeling in my heart. And I think maybe it even infected my heart, I told him.
Now you're recalling that story, that situation right now.
Yeah. So it was not at all that my implant did not burst. I was not infected, and my heart was just fine. But it was the anxiety of I had a double mastectomy. I had all this going on. I have a different size boob. I had no boobs, and now I got a nice big boobs. It's like all the different things changing in my body. Yes, positive for me, but different. And I had this anxiety over it, and it manifested as I thought something was really, really wrong. My boob for me, but different. And I had this anxiety over it, and it manifested as I thought something was really, really wrong. My boob,
And that right there is just, the more that I hear Jody talk and the more I hear her saying these things, she was creating mentally in her mind, in her thought process, more fear.
Yeah.
More fear.
Yeah. It builds.
The boob burst, and it did this, and then now her heart was going somewhere. and yes, you're hearing us laugh right now. I mean, because I'm having a special time with my best friend here, and so, but these symptoms and the things that you are experiencing, it's real, and that's what we're here to tell you. That what you're having the experience with, anxiety or depression or any other symptoms, they are real. And what you're experiencing is real.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
You're not crazy, you're not strong. People kept telling me,
it's
you're
not
strong.
A weakness.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone kept saying, you're strong, you can deal with this, you're strong. You're the strongest person I've ever met. And I am sitting there thinking, I'm about ready to break. Are you kidding me? And it's okay to admit that you're not strong right now. Or maybe strength is in asking for help.
Yeah.
The strength is knowing you're not strong enough to do something and you need help. So knowing that there's anxiety, knowing that the symptoms of anxiety are anxiety, you can reach out and you can get help for it.
Yeah. And then with that, vulnerability, right?
Oh, yeah.
Vulnerability.
That's a hard one.
Is not weakness. It's a strength. And so when you can become vulnerable and ask for that help, you're actually showing strength. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to show strength, because the symptoms that come with anxiety are fearful. Those feelings that you're getting, it's fearful to have irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath, fatigue and weakness, muscle spasms, hot flashes, sudden chills, insomnia, fear of going crazy, and choking sensation. All those are symptoms.
Fear of going
of
out.
Anxiety. Yeah.
Fear of going out around people and stuff. I think as a cancer patient that has also experienced the COVID, that we've talked about this a lot on our channel. That's scary. That is huge. It's like you're going out, you're already vulnerable because you have a lowered immune system, and not just cancer. I mean, many different things. They said the top 3 things that people that COVID kills are diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. It's like half of America could fit into that thing. So you start really getting, like fearful, double whammy of fear, a double whammy of anxiety just because of the what's going on in the world. So I think that, like, for me, I had the fear going out for a while in the beginning because I was just like thinking, everybody was telling me you're a low immune system, you're gonna die if you get this. And the best thing that ever happened to me is getting COVID and living. Because after that, I started looking at this actual statistics and knowing that 96 point something % of the people that get COVID don't die. And a lot of people with lower immune systems do get it and don't die. Elderly people in my church got it. 83, 84 years old, got it and lived. So I started seeing this positive, the living and not the death rate. And I think that is in any kind of anxiety. It's like you're looking at the whole thing, and whether it's real or not, like my boob pain and my heart infected, that was real to me because of anxiety, but it wasn't real. So once I was presented with the facts, and this is not real, then my anxiety all of a sudden went away, and the pain in my chest went away. So, yeah.
So I think really the research that Jody was doing for herself is what actually helped her reduce the fear that she was having on being out and about with other people. Actually getting COVID was like the reality hit.
Scary.
And she went out and did more research on that. Awareness is something that's important. So with that being said, I think we're going to talk a little bit about some things that you can probably do to help you. Perfect. And that is something like we were mentioning, charting. Document. Mm-hmm. Document the things that you are feeling, when you are feeling them, how often are you feeling them, how long does it last. These are also good things that you can tell your doctor. These are good things that you can share with a therapist, because then you can come up with other game plans for when it happens.
Right? Yeah.
I think that kind of helped you prepare to say, I'm going to watch this show on this day when I'm going to have
a plan of action, plan of attack.
Yes.
Definitely.
A plan of attack. So charting is really good.
Charting. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about in the moment when you feel it? Something instant we can do.
Okay. Something instant that you can do is deep breathing. So I know people are like, that doesn't work for me, or I don't know how to do it. I like to use the square model. The square model is you kind of just like a little square, and you think and visualize a square. You take a deep breath in for 4 seconds. You hold it for 4 seconds. You breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you relax for 4 seconds. And so that's a really good square right there, 4, 4, 4. If you think about that in the moment, such as right before you go in to get your scan results, or right before you're actually going to go and do the scans,
or while you're in the scan is a good time to do it.
Yes, you have to stay still in that moment.
You have to be still. So, and they tell you when to breathe, when not to breathe. Most often, sometimes with the MRI, you just lay there for a very long time, not doing anything. So
good time for those when you're in the MRI machine and you're just in there just for yourself, and you're just hearing somebody tell you what to do, what's coming next. Like right now, take that. Just relax right now. Take that time. Do the square model breathing. Just breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, and then relax. And then repeat it. Repeat it as often as you do it as you can, so it actually helps you control your breathing and the anxiety in that moment. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Another thing is we talk about mindfulness meditation, and that doesn't mean that you're gonna sit in your yoga pose and meditate and that. What I'm saying is be present in that moment. In that moment of mindfulness, it's the time where you can actually be compassionate with yourself, be non-judgmental at all in your awareness of being where you are.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by being mindful in that moment.
Be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Just be
Yes.
kind. I mean, that, I think, for the whole anxiety thing, be kind to yourself, because you are facing something. And if you're not facing like cancer, you're facing maybe a death of a husband. We've got a couple women on my channel, in our family, our community family, that have lost spouses recently, or a child. And this applies not just to having cancer. This applies to all of life. So I'm hoping that you can take just a little bit that we've given you and be able to use this in your daily life, but be kind to yourself, recognize, get a plan, and then go on. But most of all, get help. You don't deal with life, death things, by yourself. It's not even, people don't even expect it. So why do we put that on ourselves, right? So, all right, we're going to tie it today. We have another session coming, so stay tuned for the fourth one of our series. And if you are not following me on my channel or our journey, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and set the notification to Cute for Cancer.